AI. You either like it or you hate it. Sup dogs, name's TheOdie, and I create horror games in RPG Maker. So I decided to pull up ChatGPT in Midjourney to see what it is I can do with it with RPG Maker. Does it know RPG Maker? And can I do it in a way where it does not feel scummy? Very, very rapidly, the moment it became completely open, people have been using it for not exactly scams, but basically scammy ways to just get rich quick, to do your homework, and to even steal art. But can we actually use AI to create a game in RPG Maker without feeling like we're stealing someone else's work? Spoiler alert, I do have an idea, but we're going to have to wait to get there. For now, ChatGPT, do you know RPG Maker? I take that as a no. RPG Maker is a software program designed to allow users to create their own role-playing games. Allows users to create games using a drag and drop interface. If anything, I would say that it's more like templates than it is drag and drop, because you're selecting from a list of events that you can choose from. RPG Maker is a popular tool for independent game developers and hobbyists, and it has been used to create a wide range of games in different genres. Okay, that was pretty solid. I mean, I give it a 9 out of 10 of an answer. Very generic, but so was my question. Now, I also kind of want to compare. Alexa, what is RPG Maker?
RPG Maker, known in Japan as RPG Sakuru, is a series of programs for the development of role-playing video games with story-driven elements, created by the Japanese group ASCII, succeeded by Enterbrain. The Japanese name, Sakuru, is a pun mixing the Japanese word Sakuru, means make or create, with Tsuru, the Japanese transcription of the English word tool.
Okay, well, honestly, it pretty much sounds about the same thing. Okay, Google, what is RPG Maker?
According to Wikipedia, RPG Maker is a program that allows users to create their own role-playing video games.
Thanks. Between Amazon and ChatGPT, they're pretty tied. It's just that saying the drag and drop interface kind of... I mean, for the most part, drag and drop interface is very similar to clicking event or event templates. So, I think that's acceptable. Now, what's interesting about ChatGPT is that right now we're having dialogue between each other. Me and Amazon, we're pretty much done there. If I were to ask her another question, more than half of the times, she would not know anything that I'm talking about, or that I'm still talking about RPG Maker. But ChatGPT, on the other hand, tell me about the horror games. Horror games are a genre of video. Okay. Alright, okay, you know what, no, okay, alright, well, tell me about RPG Maker horror games. I was really thinking about this one.
5 minutes later.
Here I was praising Chat AI, and what does it do? It breaks on the second question. The program has been used to create a variety of different game genres, including horror games. Ooh, it gives us some examples, and of course it is going to point out the most popular ones. We got Corpse Party. It's even giving us a little bit of information on how it broke out into the bigger platforms such as the 3DS and the Vita. And then it's telling us the other popular indie games that didn't exactly reach the level of Corpse Party, but is still pretty well renowned within the horror community. And that's Mad Father, The Witch's House, Ebe, and it tells us that is a combination of jump scares, puzzles, exploration, and a bit of survive in a spooky environment. Yes, thank you for that. And here I thought that when you're surviving in a horror game, it was candy canes and cotton candy and rainbows everywhere. Granted, I did play a horror game like that, so... This is an interesting last paragraph. While RPG Maker horror games may not have the high-end graphics and production values of larger horror games, they have gained a following due to their unique style and the creativity of their developers. Oh, that's sweet. Alright. Can you recommend me some RPG Maker horror games? Sure, here are some. Mad Father. I like the fact that it doesn't just list it, they actually give us a summary of them. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was kind of just thinking, give me a list, but they actually give me more. They even tell me the creators. That's great. Okay, here's one I'm actually quite curious about. Recommend me some Wolf RPG horror games. See if it knows this. Wolf RPG Editor. Yes, it does. For those of you who do not know, it is often described as the free version of RPG Maker. There are some pretty popular ones on there. I think the most popular that most YouTubers play are, oh, they listed it, Paranoiac, and also Yuri games, such as the Strangeman series. Oh, that's, I did not expect that. Number 4, Ebe, which I mentioned earlier as an RPG Maker game, also has a Wolf RPG Editor version that features a few differences from the original game. I did not expect, because earlier it messed up, or it did not know that I was still talking about RPG Maker, but probably because we have reached this much dialogue, which is what? The 3rd entry? Yeah, the 3rd entry. And now they're catching on that I want to have a topic, a discussion about RPG Maker horror games, and it now knows. Whoa! Alright, I'm pretty impressed. Alright. I gotta ask the age-old question. Which RPG Maker should I get? Ooh, and already I can see a big mistake. Okay, well, because right now it's thinking that MV is the latest version of RPG Maker, but MZ came out in 2020, so that means that this information it collected is before that. It's probably 2019 or early 2020. Let's see if it does though. Oh, so now you know about it, but in your list you did not. Okay, well, before I proceed to the next question, here you guys go. In case you guys ever wanted to know which version to get. Okay, but what is RPG Maker Unite? There is no such thing as RPG Maker Unite. It's alright, I don't blame you. It's not out yet, it's still being created. As an AI language model, I am not able to create complete games, but I can provide you with some general tips and suggestions to help you create your horror game using RMMZ? Whoa! Mapping. Use the mapping tools to create eerie and foreboding environments for your game. Oh man, it even tells you all about that you can import audio files. I mean, I think everyone knows that jumping into a game maker engine, but it like reminds you that this is possible, and that what the engine has available by default is probably not what you're gonna want. Whoa, okay, so it actually lists puzzles as a category, and that both makes sense and surprises me at the same time, because RPG Maker is more popular for its puzzle horror as opposed to any other types of horrors. Alright, this is actually pretty sick. So now I actually want to compare this dialogue with something that's much more popular, Unity. It pretty much used the same stuff, but they just changed the header for each of the bullet points. Mapping, environment, atmosphere, audio. Okay, so bottom line with GPT is that you cannot have it just create a game for you. Of course it can't do that. What you can do is have it suggest things to you. But what you can also do, which is kind of what the get-rich-quick schemers are doing, is write me a horror story. It's still writing it, but the first thing I see is, it was a dark and stormy night. Oh, that's great. I like that. That's amazing. Okay, so I think in order for us to read this, we're gonna have to get a little bit immersed here. Alexa, chill me to my bones.
Currently, traffic to
Chill me to my bones.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. Okay. Well, what's this? No, it tells me another story. Alright, well, while I was doing that, I'm going to have to get us into the right mood. So we definitely do not have the time to read both stories, so if you're interested in reading the second story, here it is. Pause the video, have a good read. Now what we're going to go through is the first one, where it was a dark and stormy night when a group of friends decided to explore an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The house was rumored to be haunted, and the locals whispered of strange noises and movements coming from the house at all hours of the night. Despite the ominous warnings, the group of friends, eager for a thrill, ventured inside the house. The first thing they noticed was the overpowering stench of decay and rot that hung in the air. Cobwebs covered every surface, and the once grand furnishings were now covered in dust and grime. As they moved deeper into the house, their friends began to hear strange noises coming from the shadows. They heard whispers and footsteps, and even the sound of something breathing heavily in the darkness. But when they turned on their flashlights to investigate, they saw nothing but empty hallways and abandoned rooms. The deeper they ventured into the house, the more they felt as though they were being watched. They began to see strange shadows moving in the corners of their eyes, and they felt cold fingers brushing against their skin. Finally, they reached a room that seemed to be the epicenter of the haunting. In the center of the room stood an old wooden chair, and on the wall behind it was a single word scrawled in blood. Leave. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, and the friends were plunged into darkness. They heard the sound of something moving in the shadows, and they knew that they were not alone. One by one, the friends were picked off by the malevolent entity that haunted the house. Some disappeared without a trace, while others were found brutally murdered. The last remaining friend managed to escape the house, but not before catching a glimpse of the creature that had been stalking them. It was a grotesque, twisted thing, with a face that was half human and half monster. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and its mouth was filled with razor-sharp teeth. Years later, the lone survivor of the fateful night still wakes up screaming, haunted by the memory of the horror that lurked in the shadow of that abandoned house. Sorry, I didn't think we could get like a prologue like that. I just imagine the horrors that this person goes through, and then credits, post credits, just see this dude. Anyways, now here is something we can do with Midjourney. And if you do not know Midjourney, it's an AI that helps us create art. So I can actually take this paragraph, control copy. You'll go to any of these newbies, type, is it /? Yeah, it's /. And then it's going to take some time to do this, and while we do this, it is a public Discord channel. So while we wait for it to generate, we also get to watch what other people are generating. And if you were to actually see what people were doing, you can actually see that a lot of other people are likely game devs doing the same thing or trying to create something to sell on the internet or in the world. And here we got it. So I put in, it was a dark and stormy night when a group of friends decided to explore the abandoned house. This is what it got me. And I gotta admit, these are actually really, really good. My mind is actually quite blown by how nice it looks. Like, if I want, I could just take one of these and make it the title card to my game. And here's the thing, because it's generated by AI, credit is not required. But here's the other thing that links to that, is the fact that because it's created by AI, you cannot actually put a copyright to it. What that means is that it's not yours, it's the AI's. And by the rules of, I guess, copyright. You cannot copyright anything generated by AI. Feel free to look that up if you don't believe me. Here, check this out. Remember that monster that we heard about? No, it actually looks more like a dragon than a monster if you ask me. Alright, in my opinion, this actually does it a little bit better. I kind of like the top left one. Although it does look more oceanic than anything else. This one just looks like a straight up demon. But in a sense, that is kind of how it was described. It does look half humanoid. Just the face and then the creature-like features and the sharp fangs. Pretty interesting. Now, here's something that you can do. So admittedly, it's not the best that I got, but I can have it re-roll, and if I need a full body portrait, I can specify full portrait. And while Midjourney probably cannot create you a character set, it does give you enough of an image to copy, paste, and make your character set that way. Should you be allowed to create a game using AI? Should you be allowed to have it write your own story? And should you be allowed to have it create your own art? And at some point, there is going to be AI for music. That's up and coming. Sounds absolutely horrible right now, but it is something being created. Should we be allowed to create a game using just AI? And I'm going to answer this by playing devil's advocate, and 100% as a hot take. Yes, because it is still our jobs as the content creator, the game developer, to do it in such a way that makes it fun. But if you were to ask me if it was right for us to do that and try to make money off of it, I would say, hell no, dude. I think it's pretty obvious, but in case it needs to be said, you do lose the human part of it when using AI, and that's creating your own story, telling it the way that you want to tell it, and creating your art and music the way that you both see and hear it. So in that case, how should AI be used? Well, if an AI is going to generate your story and generate your characters, then, in my opinion, it should be 100% transparent, and it should be completely free. I mean, you did not do the work to create the story, you did not do the work to do any of the art. The only thing that is yours is, yes, putting it together, making a playable game, but that's kind of the same thing as saying you made a fan-made game of an already existing story, is it not? Or taking characters that already exist. What I think AI can be good for is to help inspire. Like, for example, if I had no idea what a half-human, half-creature would look like, I can ask AI to draw something up. Then I can say, oh, you know what? I really like those features on that part. I think I will use that. And I know that can sound a little bit conflicting, but realistically, we kind of do the same thing, right? I think by nature, we do Frankenstein pieces off of already existing art. And if we're using AI as an inspiration, then I think that's fine too. But in this case, we probably, no, we should credit them. Cthulhu, for example. It's kind of easy to know that this artist drew their conclusion from studying live examples of creatures in our world. But when it comes to this, AI, there's no way for us to tell because the AI generated the imagination for us. And by not crediting the AI, it sounds as though we're the ones who've done the studying and drew those conclusions on our own. So on one hand, if you're going with completely using whatever AI generates, then in my opinion, that should be free. But if we're inspiring off of something that AI has done without taking it exactly, then I think AI should be credited. I think AI is a strong resource, and that is something that we can use. However, if we abuse it, then that's just shame, 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 shame. So with all that said, I'm actually quite interested to see what exactly can I inspire from AI. I do think it's well written, and it helps you, gives imagination to the sort of things that can be taking place in this story. And with that, I will of course be using Midjourney to help me inspire off of some of the things that they create, and hopefully inspire off of AI to figure out how it is that they're learning. So that's what I'm going to do for the month of March. Between that and developing Cash's Trap, which, by the way, 0 AI involved in that game whatsoever, just to make that clear. So I'm going to be working on Cash's Trap, but I'm also going to be working on this AI inspired project. And of course, it will be playable and 100% free. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below and tell me how you think we can use AI without it being schemy and scummy. Alright, I probably won't be uploading a lot in March, so fun things are coming in April at least. Till then, later!